One of the fascinating things about being on television, and you know, we're fair game, that's why I do these Your Buzz segments. You can criticize what I say, the questions I ask, and all of that. But it's so interesting that some viewers, and I guess this is the nature of TV and somebody coming into your living room, you know, will look at an expression you had, or a tone of voice, or if you interrupted one guest, and they will read all kinds of things into it. Sometimes I interrupt the guest because the guest is talking too long, or because I've got 20 seconds to a hard break where a computer's going to cut us off, and I've got to get out in time to do the commercial so we can come back with the next segment. And sometimes I have a look that might not mean much of anything, but people out there might interpret it as meaning something. So here's a classic example, email from David Bardolph. David writes, "You're always talking about other reporters' behavior. I put you in the same category as Shep Smith. You should both look in the mirror." I do look in the mirror to comb my hair. "Your guest today made a good point about CNN people going in the wee hours of the morning and putting reserve signs on 8 front row seats." This is at the Trump presser. "And your snarky answer with an equally snarky smile was, everyone wants a good seat." And his surprised reaction was the same as mine. 8? Look at the tape and see the smart ass look on your face. "I notice your same attitude when you're a guest on other Fox programs. You're no better than the other elite reporters you're always talking about. Clean up your attitude." Well, I guess David's not a big fan of mine. He seems to think I'm very snarky. Everybody gets their own opinion on that. But in this particular instance, Joe Concha from The Hill was the guest. We were talking about big things. We're talking about BuzzFeed and CNN and the unverified dossier full of rumors. It was originally an anti-Trump Oppo document. And we talked, of course, about the press conference and CNN's Jim Acosta, and was he rude and disrespectful, as Sean Spicer claims, to continually interrupt Donald Trump trying to get a question in at that press conference after the president-elect had criticized CNN. And it was there that Joe Concha said, well, you know, CNN kind of was not terribly nice toward all the other journalists trying to get seats at this press conference because they snuck in and they reserved 8 seats. And I didn't mean to look snarky or give a snarky answer. I just thought, that's fine. I'm glad Joe brought that up. It's kind of a minor point. And I kind of wanted to move on, given a limited amount of time for the segment, to some bigger questions about the state of journalism and journalistic ethics or lack thereof, beyond the question of reserving seats. I've been to a million debates, conventions, and it's not unusual for a news organization to reserve seats. 8 is a lot. I thought that was noteworthy. But you read into my reaction that I didn't like the answer or I was just being snarky about it. I really was just trying to kind of acknowledge the point, move on to the next question, because, you know, one of the things about television is you've got a ticking clock, and there's a certain amount of time before you got to thank the guests, go to break, and go on to the next segment. And you have some questions that you'd like to get to. So, you know, I don't view myself as a snarky journalist. Once in a while, I'll make a smart alecky remark, okay? It's television. We try to have a little bit of fun. But in this case, I think I was just trying to move the conversation along.